23 years of marriage dismantled by one night's mistake with a stranger. Now my husband, once affectionate, hardly acknowledges me. He moves silently through our home, seemingly unaware or uncaring of my presence. The guilt consumes me whenever I hear his keys drop on the counter, or catch a whiff of the familiar aftershave he has worn for years. The man who knew every line on my palm now recoils at accidental contact. All this started in a hotel room distant from Albuquerque, a room I had hoped would remain undisclosed. But last night, Clarence found the receipt. As I watch him grip it, I feel certain he has discovered my secret. To every subscriber of this channel, heartfelt thanks for your unspoken support. To new and returning viewers yet to subscribe, thank you too. Eagerly anticipate your click on the subscribe button, as it significantly propels this channel and maintains its vibrancy. Don't forget to share your insights in the comments section, as I read each one, and they contribute to molding these narratives. Like, share, and let's continue our growth together. Back to the tale now. My name is Rosa, aged 45, residing in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I serve as a school counselor at a local high school. For years, I've derived joy from assisting individuals in navigating their paths and offering guidance to troubled teenagers amidst heartbreak and family turmoil, even when I was struggling with my own life's control. My husband, Clarence, aged 47, owns an HVAC repair company. He is reliable, capable of fixing machines, homes, and faulty air conditioners. However, lately he seems unable to mend broken people, especially me. We've been married since our early 20s. A time when we would spend entire nights conversing. Somehow, following the miscarriage, the prolonged silences, and the unspoken sorrow, something changed. He ceased inquiring about my day. I stopped anticipating his arrival home. We dwelled under the same roof, yet in separate realms. The solitude grew deafening. It was late March when I embarked on a statewide education conference in Santa Fe, distancing myself from home for 2 nights. Isul no confrontation. I prepared my books, laptop, and unused sleep aid pills. My intention was to attend my workshops, consume overpriced hotel cuisine, and return home. However, I encountered Tyler. He spoke about trauma recovery in schools during a keynote speech. His voice was soft yet commanding, his eyes kind but almost too focused. Afterward, we found ourselves in the same hotel lounge. I consumed merely 1 glass of wine, but his discourse felt like a ray of sunshine after a protracted winter. I observed your behaviors, such as the way you spun your wedding ring, your hesitation before discussing Clarence, and the unsure nature of your laugh. His questions seemed potentially harmful in a subtle manner. I should have left. I should have returned to my room, contacted Clarence, and reminded myself of my identity. Yet, I found myself following Tyler into the elevator. The following morning, I could scarcely bear to look at myself in the mirror. I drove back to Albuquerque with my heart racing throughout the journey. I vowed never to mention the incident again. It was insignificant. It was concluded. However, yesterday, while folding laundry, I saw Clarence clutching something in his hand. It was the hotel receipt. The one I believed I discarded, bearing my name and a midnight timestamp. He remained silent, merely gazed at me, then departed from the room. Now I am uncertain if my marriage still exists. Clarence did not shout or accuse. He simply ceased to be my spouse. The silence after him discovering that receipt surpassed any arguments I had envisioned. He moved with a weight in his chest, something he couldn't discard, while I was powerless to alleviate it. That night, he chose the guest room for sleeping. No explanation accompanied his departure. Only the door clicking shut behind him echoed. Alone in our bedroom, I stared at the empty space left by his body on the mattress, the air heavy with unsaid words. The following morning brought no verbal exchange. He prepared coffee as usual, fed the dog, and departed for work. From the kitchen window, I watched him drive away in silence, my throat constricting. The urge to rush out, confess everything, seek forgiveness was overwhelming. Yet the lie I clung to persisted, a mistake, meaningless, something that could be buried and forgotten. However, truth had already begun to unfurl, grotesque and unavoidable, between us. In the evening, I attempted conversation but met only silence in return. He was seated on the bed's edge in the guest room, untying his boots. I remained in the doorway, silent. I asked, my voice quivering, "Can we discuss something?" He paused, then looked at me with eyes heavy with fatigue. "What is it we need to talk about?" he inquired. "About how you spent the night with another man?" The words stuck in my throat. I couldn't speak. Embarrassment gripped me tightly. "It wasn't planned," I whispered. "It just occurred." I felt isolated. I felt unseen. He gave a slow nod. "So you resolved that by sleeping with a stranger?" His voice was not filled with anger. That made it worse. It carried the quiet of a heart that has stopped dreaming. He walked past me, heading down the hall towards the backyard. That was the first time I shed real tears. I pressed my hand over my mouth to suppress the sobs, fearful of waking the neighbors. I didn't want to awaken the past, but it had already stirred awake. That night, I sat at the dining table and penned a letter to Clarence. I confessed everything to him. The numbness, the despair, how I loathed myself for what I'd done. Yearning to rewind to that fateful night and pick a different path. I left the note on the kitchen counter. He read it the following morning. I knew because it was missing, but instead of speaking he prepared a modest luggage, jeans, a few t-shirts, his razor. He glanced at me before departing, merely for a moment. Then he said, "I need space." And with that, he exited through the front door. I remained, barefoot on the cold floorboards, feeling as though a lifelong bond had been severed. The dwelling was silent. The ticking of the kitchen clock was deafening. Each passing second felt like retribution. I wished to howl, but remained motionless. Realizing no words could restore our former selves, Clarence was away for 11 days. In that interval, I transformed into a stranger to myself. I discarded makeup. My appetite waned. 9 pounds and sleep were lost. I moved silently around the house, grazing familiar spots where he once was. A coffee mug in the cabinet, boots by the door, the cushion on the couch where he watched Sunday football. At work, I became an ethereal presence. My students sensed it. One even inquired if anything was amiss at home. I replied with a forced smile that all was well before sequestering myself in my office and weeping over a pile of college recommendation letters. One evening, Tyler messaged me. A single message, "Hoping you're all right." I contemplated it for 5 minutes before deleting it. I had made one error. I would not make another. Clarence did not reach out. No calls, no texts, not even a check on the dog. But on the 12th night, I heard the front door creak open. I hurried to the corridor and saw him standing there, clutching his keys, looking exhausted from sleepless nights. He didn't smile, he didn't embrace me. All he said was that he came to talk. In the living room, we sat on opposite ends of the couch, two individuals who once shared everything, now struggling to find a starting point. He gazed straight ahead as he spoke. "I've been contemplating us, your actions, my inactions." I remained silent, allowing him space. "I acknowledge our problems," he continued. "I recognize that after the miscarriage, I withdrew, submerged myself in work. I believed I was shielding you by avoiding the subject, but now I realize I only left you with the pain." Tears filled my eyes. "But Rosa, you made a decision, one I can never forget. One I'm not sure if I can ever overlook." That night I softly whispered, "I understand." For the first time since everything disintegrated, he looked at me, and I saw raw emotion in his eyes, not fury, not loathing, merely heartache. "I will stay with my brother for a while," he said. "I require time to reflect. Perhaps therapy. Perhaps we're both at fault." I acknowledged with a nod. "Whatever it takes for you." He rose and approached the door, but then halted. "I still cherish you," he admitted. "Yet I lack trust in you. And I'm unsure if love suffices without that trust." And then he departed. Now I remain here in the quiet, in the home we constructed together. Each corner recalls a memory. Every picture on the wall seems to belong to someone else. A person who once believed that love could endure anything. But now I recognize that love is not merely about duration, history, or even mercy. It's about the decisions we make when no one observes us. And I chose incorrectly. If you've ever felt unseen in your own marriage, I empathize with you. If you're healing from a breach, whether you were the inflictor or the sufferer, I acknowledge you. I'm uncertain if Clarence and I will endure this. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. But one fact remains clear. Some errors do not offer second chances, only consequences. Appreciate your patience throughout this narrative. If it resonated with you on a personal level, feel free to express in the comments section below. Don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Your encouragement is invaluable. Let's continue these discussions honestly, authentically, and openly. Remember, behind every private moment, there lies an untold tale that deserves recognition.